Hey guys, it's Shelly. I'm feeling a lot emotional today. We have been here in Del Rio for a few months now, since November. We got here mid-November, and CJ and I have both been looking for work, and it's just been really overwhelming. And it's not to say that we don't have skills, because we do. CJ's an electrician, and he's done some other stuff, and he's able to do, landscaping and things like that. But the funny thing is, out here, I'm not too sure what the landscapers do, because we went through a little neighborhood, because right now he is actually helping someone out with a side job. And we went through that neighborhood, and these people don't have any grass. And we had talked to somebody about it, like, the yards don't have grass, like, what are the lawn services doing? And the lady said that a year or so ago that people stopped watering their yards because the water started costing so much. Which is funny, because you look at it and you see everybody's yard is nothing but dirt. I mean, there's not even like a desert scape or cactus or anything like that. I got a headache. I just got extremely overwhelmed right now. I had a job interview for a remote job, but the listing wasn't very specific as to it's remote, but only if you're in that area. Because they still want, it's like a hybrid kind of position. They still want you to go into the office. So I've filled out tons of applications here in Del Rio, and it's a small town, and the next step is for me to go like to Walmart and HEB and all the little department stores they have here, or restaurants or something like that. And I've never really done too much work like that. I've worked at Starbucks for about 4 or 5 months, and I liked it, but I didn't get really in depth into being a barista and things like that. I was training and I did see some stuff, but I never really got on the line to be a barista. But it's just getting overwhelming right now, because we're getting to the point where we really, really need jobs. We really need some income coming in. So the only thing I can do is ask, if there's anybody out there who's already doing remote work and know of any positions coming up. I've done accounting. I've done accounts receivable work. I've done all levels of administrative assistant work, from front desk, file clerk, all the way up to executive and personal assistant. And I don't see too much of that type of work here, because it's not a big city like Houston was. So my skills, even though I have very good skills, are very hard to put to use out here. I did, like I said, I got an interview at the beginning of this month. No, the end of January. And it was for a dentist office here in Del Rio. And you go through Indeed, and they ask you to bring the resume. So I went to go take them the resume. They talked to me real quick for that day. 5 minutes, real quick, just asking me a couple of questions about the positions that I had. And then the next day I went in for a full-on interview. I was there for maybe about 10-15 minutes to interview with the dentist there. And then a couple of days later, I went in for what they call a working interview. And I was there all day training the front desk and then the back office, because it was a front desk clerk, office manager. It was an office manager position, plus the opportunity to be a dental assistant in the back. So you kind of work both positions. One day you're helping out in the back because he needs help in the dental assistant area, and then some days you're working up front because he needs you to manage the front office, which is a great position, and I would love it. And it was part-time, so you're working 2 to 3 days a week, and they don't work full days on Friday, so that would have been a great position. I don't know if I have that job yet. He said he was going to have maybe another week or two of interviews to do, so this would be week 2. So hopefully by the end of this week, or sometime this week, he'd probably be making a decision or let us know. I think I might call and see where they're at on that process. But yeah, so like I said, if anybody out there is watching this and is working remotely, fully remote from home, I have the ability to do so for maybe about another month. But I know if I did find a job that was remote, that I could figure out a way to bear the cost to keep the internet on. But yeah, any leads will do. And like I said, CJ's about to start going back and redoing some applications with some of these places. Home Depot, there's a Home Depot here, a Walmart, a HB. HB's always hiring. It's just trying to get in. Then there's a whole bunch of little stores. They have an actual mall here with a Burlington, Marshalls, a Penny's. They got some good sized department stores here, and tons of restaurants. There's tons of restaurants here. So like I said, I've never done that kind of work, but if it comes down to it, I'll start applying there and see where it goes. I don't know if I can do those. I'm sure I can. Do I want to? No, not really. And then you get hit with, you've never done this kind of work. Your resume, says all this other stuff, and, we can't pay you what you're looking for. And at this point, I just need to survive. I just need to get paid to survive right now. So yeah, reach out to me, comment. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Facebook is Shelly Rivera, or you can just message me here through YouTube. Any help, any leads, that would be great. It's up to me to get the job, I know that, but any leads would be helpful. I do hope that the rest of your day is blessed. This is not the end of the road. It's just a little bump in the road for us. But we're determined to figure this part out. Love you guys.